creator when you create your character?
Oh, I like the sound of that, creator.
So what comes first to you? Do you think of the powers that the character has, or do you think of the personality first and then find the powers from that? What's your process like?
Think of how many bills I have to pay. I better come up with something pretty fast. No. I don't know. What do you think of them? I think the name has to come first. I loved getting a good name. Like when I thought of the Hulk, I had no idea what it was going to be. If I had any brains, it would have been something better than what it turned out to be. But I was hoping you'd react that way. I was testing you, and congratulations, you all passed the test. So you can stay here a little longer. I won't send you out into that nice day out there. What was the question?
Well, I figure it's a good segue into one of my favorite stories that you tell, which is the creation of Spider-Man.
Come back with me in All right, I'll tell you, I've told this so often that, for all I know, it might even be true. I had wanted to come up with a new character. Not that I really wanted to, but my job depended on it, so I had to. So I came up with the idea of Spider-Man. I wanted to get a character who was called Spider-Man and had the powers of a spider, and who would be a teenager, because I hate teenage sidekicks. So I wanted the hero to be a teenager. With teenage sidekicks, I always thought to myself, if I were a superhero, a grown man, would I pal around with some teenage kid? At the very least, people would talk. So I wanted him to be a teenager. Why are you laughing? I have to work with this guy. If I'm saying the wrong thing and put him in a bad mood, did I say something wrong?
The reason I'm not laughing is because now I have to fire my teenage sidekick.
All right, let's be serious. And also, I said I want Spider-Man to have a lot of personal problems, because Superman never had a personal problem. And as far as I knew, Batman didn't, or none of them did. So anyway, I proposed Spider-Man to my publisher, a guy named Martin. That was his first name. That's how close I was with him, just Marty to me. And Martin said to me, Stan, that is the worst idea I have ever heard in my life. And he gave me 3 reasons. He said, first of all, you can't call a hero Spider-Man because people hate spiders. All right, that was his thought. Then he said, and it can't be a teenager. A teenager can only be a sidekick. You don't have a teenage hero. And then he said, and you want him to have personal problems? Dan, don't you know what a superhero is? They don't have personal problems. So I had to bow before his wisdom and the fact that he was paying my salary. But a few months later, we had this book, Amazing Fantasy. And we were going to kill it, even though I thought it was one of the best books, because I wrote all the stories. And Steve did go through them, and it really was a great book. But the world wasn't ready for it at that time. They ought to republish it now. At any rate, we were going to drop the book. Now, when you're going to drop a book, nobody cares what you put in the last issue, because the book is dying anyway. So I threw Spider-Man in it just to get it out of my system, and I featured Spider-Man on the cover. And man, the sales figures came in, and it was the best-selling book we had for that period of time. So Martin came to me a little bit later. He said, Stan, do you remember that Spider-Man character of yours that we both liked so much? I remember. He said, let's do a series. And lo
a legend.